A very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch powered by HSBC. I'm Priya Sheth, and joining me on this conversation is Shashank Mehta from the Whole Truth Foods. Thank you very much, Shashank, for joining us today. It's an interesting concept because we've seen so many D2C brands really spring up amid this pandemic, and we're seeing the kind of exponential growth that they've been, tracking over the last couple of months. So tell us a little bit about how the brand has grown, and what does it look like at this point in time?
Thank you so much for having me, Priya, on Daily Dispatch. Yes, D2C brands have sprung up a dime a dozen. While we started D2C, and we are, for the benefit of the listeners, we are a 28-month-old brand, so it's slightly more than 2 years old. We started off as D2C, but we are no longer D2C, only D2C. We never meant to be. So I'd call ourselves a digitally native, but fully omni-channel brand now, present across retail and marketplaces, etc. But the growth has been phenomenal. For us, we grew 10x in our first year, 5x in the next one. So the growth has been quite dizzying. And I think it's a combination of both the inherent tailwind in the sector, plus the fact that our brand and the promise really cut through, and then the products lived up to it.
Right. Which have been your fastest growing categories? Tell us a little bit about, where this growth has really come from.
I think on the category front, our oldest first category of protein bars continues to be our strength. We thought that, it's a small category and that growth will taper out soon, but seems like, the product is so differentiated that it keeps getting a lot of traction. Having said that, our latest, not our latest anymore because we launched chocolates like a week ago, but before that we launched nut butters, and that category also is seeing tremendous traction. Again, as I said, I think the categories that do the best are the ones which have both vectors of inherent category demand and a player coming in with an extremely differentiated product. When these two things combine is when you see the most traction, and we see that playing out in both nut butters as well as protein bars.
In 2022, what would be the kind of categories that you'll be focusing on, new categories that you'll be adding? What's in the pipeline?
So actually, we just launched our fourth category. So we started with protein bars, then came mueslis, then came nut butters, and a week ago we launched dark chocolates. And this one's a bit of a googly for a lot of people because folks see us as a healthy food brand or a protein snack brand, etc. But we've always seen and known ourselves as a truth brand. We believe that big food has been lying to consumers for ages, and consumers deserve a 100% clean label option across food categories. So that continues to be our NPD focus and our new category launch focus, that whenever there's a category where we believe incumbents have been selling inherently bad food masquerading as healthy, can we create a 100% clean option? And it doesn't matter if it's a healthy category like protein bars or a patently indulgent category like dark chocolates. All of them deserve to be cleaned up. So in 22, our focus continues to be cleaning up category after category. We are in 4 categories now, and that itself is enough fuel to continue the kind of growth we've seen in the past into this year also. But in the future too, while I can't take names of categories that we'll enter, that's the lens with which we look at the market. We look at large categories where incumbents have been selling not so honest labels and products, and we try and bring 100% clean label option there.
Right, interesting perspective out there. To actually cash in on this kind of expansion and bring these products to the market, of course there is a lot of investment that's required. So what kind of investment are you looking at, and plans to raise funds at this point?
Actually, we just raised our Series A less than 8 months ago. We raised it in actually 9 months ago, July of last year. And touch wood, we've had the privilege of being backed by both the best marquee investors from Sequoia to Matrix to the best founders in the country. So the Swiggy founder, the Rebel Foods founder, the Zerodha founder, all of them are angel investors in the company. So thankfully for now, we are sorted on resources, and we are CPG firms like us are not money guzzling machines. We make money on every product that we sell. The money only is required for funding people and capabilities and future capex, etc. Right. So not looking to raise funds right away, but perhaps around the end of the year or early next year would be the time. And you're right, it requires a lot of investment, not burning money for buying growth, but capital expenditure and people. We built a brilliant team, which is far ahead of where we are as a business today, because I believe people come before they bring the revenue. The revenue is a resultant of building the team, right? So these are the investments for which one needs investors, and good investors support you in investing behind the right things and the right capabilities rather than trying to buy growth.
Right. Shashank, I want to understand what kind of revenue targets are you working with? I know that you have now expanded, and omni-channel is a strategy that's here to stay. But in terms of revenue and growth, where do you stand, and what kind of expectations do you have?
I think we'll exit the year at a 100 crore annualized run rate. That's a very realistic space that we're looking at by the end of the year.
And targets going forward, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line?
I've always found 2-3 year targets to be a bit up in the air, to be honest. We look at it more from a, what's the mission and what will make us happy lens. So what will make us happy is if every year we are able to enter 2 to 3 categories and clean them up and expand into geographies, hopefully within 2 years outside of India too. If I had to put a number to it, I think in the next 3 years, we have the potential to create a 500 crore plus brand. But again, as I said, I've always found talking about long-term numbers to be more up in the air. I like to focus on the inputs, which are disrupting category after category and growing into geographies and building a team and building the capability infrastructure at the back end that's required to power this growth.
All right, Shashank, many thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we wish you all the very best in your journey forward.